Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Segment Podcast. This is episode 180. I got the boys here from the Naturally Gnar Show out of Bentonville, Arkansas. What's up, Scot and Brandon?
What up? What's up, my dude? How you been, man?
I've been good. I cannot wait to talk to you guys because I completely missed out on Bentonville, the bike fest this year.
And you were invited. We invited you.
I know.
It's okay, brother. It's okay.
We had podcast time set up. You guys had an epic location. Last year, we were at the top of Kohler Preserve, right? Mm-hmm. Right there by right there by where we drop in on the slalom course.
Thunderdome.
Yes. And this time, you guys where were you guys at this time? Were multiple places?
Scott, start us off.
Well, we started out at the hub on Thursday and Friday, but it was a little gnar because we had to set it up and break it down before 11 and get it all out of there so they can operate the restaurant. So it was some physical work involved.
A lot of physical work involved.
all that equipment, the whole thing, like we had last year.
We brought the whole studio,
the full studio. Yeah, and like when we did, we had so we'll obviously talk about the guest, but one of the guests we had on with Dialed Action Sports, Andre Burton, and we had him. We were talking about the setup, and he was like, "Man, this is a pretty crazy setup." And we were in the hub, and because we were doing this bounce. It was very much like we were had to do a minimal setup there. So we called it the half setup. And then when I showed him, I was like, yeah, this is only like half of it. When we go to YT, we're doing full setup. So we took advantage of the split by having multiple setups essentially,
So you guys were at the hub, and I remember YT not being too far away.
Very close.
Flip the gear down the street, or did you have to pack it into the car because a lot of that's so sensitive?
Yeah, we did. We had to break it all down, put it all on a trailer. I mean, it really isn't that far, but a block away and roll around the block. But then we were set upstairs, so I mean, all the furniture parts we had to carry up there and get it all set up and stuff. So it took us a few hours, and then we had to help YT out with some video stuff to set up for the jaunt by with
Big Priv.
Justice Berry, his premiere. So we had to help out with that too. So it was a lot of fun though.
Oh, that's awesome. That's sick. That is so sick. I'm so stoked you guys had the YT mill this year. So you guys were upstairs, and is that the apparel section, above everything, looking down onto the main floor?
Yeah. It was pretty nice because it kind of turned into and it was unintentional. I mean, the whole flow of everything was really natural, which is good for us. Our show is called Naturally Gnar. So going with the flow was par for the course. And but yeah, I mean, it was definitely a partnership between us and the hub and us and YT, and we were really excited to engage both of them, so that YT gave us a lot of freedom whenever we were there to kind of do our thing.
Dude, that is awesome. And when you guys are talking about the time slots, that's AM, right? You're doing the shows early in the morning and then breaking down before the afternoon.
It was pretty crazy. Yeah, Scott, the Friday we had one show at the hub and then had Tippy in the same day, not set up. We had to tear the studio down, move all the furniture and equipment to YT, get set up, sound check, and be ready for Tippy within a 4-hour period.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Whoa.
It worked out. Everything worked out pretty good, and it was actually pretty cool because when you're downstairs and the party started and you look up at the stage, Brandon's got all the dope lights, the green and the purple, and we had them, shining up on the walls and stuff. So when you look up there, you're like, what's going on over there? So people,
it was definitely an Arkansas zone.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah.
That's so sick. I can just imagine it. How did you guys deal with, because I've not done a lot of these ones live off location, like into a whole different spot. Like, was it
Sure.
hard getting the ambient noise down? And I mean, you're
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely challenges when it comes to like doing like a new venue with a show, especially like, you know, like your setup like stays the setup all the time. And then
yeah,
like, you know, when you uproot something and then just go somewhere else, I mean, there's, you know, obvious problems that you would expect to happen. Like, you know, there was one of the shows, I think it was actually, unfortunately, I do hate this, and I hate to call myself out on it, but during Brett Tippy's show, like my camera was just completely out of focus.
oh
Like,
no,
yeah, like, and I just couldn't get to it. There's just no natural way for me to get to it. And I was like, you know what? The conversation's more important. So just do that, you know?
Yeah.
But then like
Yeah.
we were in the hub, and, you know, like when we do these shows inside, we have controlled lighting. Like that's something that, you know, we're able to control. And we agreed to do the hub, and like first thing, we got everything set up early morning. And the one thing that obviously like I didn't consider was that it was super bright and there's a bunch of windows. So like there was like a couple of camera shots that were washed out, and I mean, I only had so much that I brought with me to control the environment.
Yeah.
We had like there was like a Bentonville Bike Fest banner that was like 7 feet tall, and we put it on top of a table and right where the sun was coming. So, I mean, we had to like improvise, but we still ended up making it work. But
yeah,
I think the aesthetic and the ambiance was still cool. Like when you asked, like, how was it dealing with like background noise and stuff? It really was, to me, just it was cool because you can hear people setting up in the bar, but it wasn't loud. It was
natural.
It was like you're at a coffee shop.
Yeah.
And you could kind of hear the rustling in the background, but it wasn't loud enough to disrupt the conversation whatsoever. So it was kind of cool.
That's really cool. That's really cool. Damn. So the hub, like you had the lighting stuff at the hub, and then the mill probably had more like sound, but these mics are so good at just like capturing what's in front of them.
Yeah, there was that. And then actually, like when we got with the hub, so like, you know, as I said before, you know, both of these, I guess what we kind of referred to them as like a part 1, part 2 of our finale. And they were true partnerships with each location. So for instance, like the hub, they worked with us on actually getting into the venue and having the venue completely to ourselves. I mean, again, like the setup, the crew had to set up, but like aside from that, you know, we had the space to ourselves. And then when it came to YT, Jimmy Asselford, like he worked with us on the YT schedule. So we actually had our booking built around YT's entire schedule, like they're the athletes while they were there.
Dude, that's amazing.
So that way, yeah, he definitely did. He worked with us on getting all the guests. There was more people that we wanted to get in, but we were trying to be reserved with our time, what we knew we could pull off, and then just, you know, try not to, you know, abuse, you know, what we were going for.
Yeah. Dude, that's freaking epic. Who was the for the folks that are listening to the podcast right now, some of the guests that you guys had, and where can they listen to these shows?
Yeah, well, you know, starting with the hub, we the first guest was Annika Beerton, and by the way, pronounced Annika. Got to the bottom of that one.
She's awesome. Is it Beerton or Burton? How do you say it?
I said Beerton, and she didn't.
She didn't correct
the Annika. The Annika was the
Annika thing we got figured out.
Was more important.
Annika.
But yeah, she's a local shredder and mountain bike legend, world champion. So it was really cool to, like, you know, sit down with her, have her perspective. And then next we did Northwest Arkansas Trail Tech program.
So the community college in Bentonville now has a mountain bike tech program to be certified as a trail builder and set you up for other things like being a project manager, operations manager, and other things. But yeah, it gets you all the basics and everything for that. And then they also have a bike technician program too. So it's really
Wow.
cool. Yeah, this community is insane, man. The way they just collaborate on everything.
That's amazing. I wonder, was it that's really cool. You had like a local celebrity athlete, like
Mhm.
Annika, and then you had cool stuff in the community, like the college that's offering that program, offering people like a future job, future career. It's
Mhm.
got
Yeah.
to be like an engineering type of thing, which is a big deal. So this is cool.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
and they also have like meetings with a lot of the trail building companies to like get their input on what they're looking for as,
Mm,
as a candidate to work for them. So they're always trying to pivot and upgrade their curriculum to accommodate what they're actually needing. So it's kind of cool to be able to see them communicate directly with trail building companies and and groom these people or students into being ready to work.
yeah, that's really cool. So those two guys were at the hub. When was that the first time you guys actually sat down and talked with like Annika, for example?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was our first time meeting her, which is always interesting whenever we meet somebody on the show.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times when we have these guests, like, Mark, we know you very well. So this is like super easy to do.
Yeah, it's
Um,
like talking to some buddies.
this is no
Yeah.
big deal. But like when you meet somebody and like 15 minutes we're on camera, so
Yeah.
it's an interesting dynamic. But yeah, it was actually really great. Like, we had we hit it off and immediately got into conversation. So it was like not a dull moment with her. And we talked a lot about like mountain bike coaching and kind of like what that means in Northwest Arkansas, because there's a lot of options when it comes to coaching around here. And a lot of times you just kind of need to find somebody that fits you and you can get the best coaching that works for what you're looking for. So it's great to have options. In
Yeah.
short, check the episode out. See more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I love
Yeah.
watching her Instagram, and I love like how she does all the coaching. She
Yeah.
seems very approachable, very friendly. And then
Mhm.
I feel like she's the type of person where you're talking to a world class athlete and
Mhm.
champion, but you probably don't feel intimidated because she seems so warm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, no, it was very natural.
That's
Yeah, she
really
was really easy to talk to and cool, and just kind of getting her experience in racing and how she even got to where she was, and BMXing, and she had so much background in cycling. It's insane.
I didn't
Yeah.
realize she had BMX. Of course she has BMX. Everybody
Yes.
who
Yeah. Oh
seems
yeah.
to shred has
Yeah.
BMX.
That's right. Well,
What
another
the
thing
heck?
that was natural was that we were like at the. I guess I didn't really consider this until now, but like the fact that we were at the hub, it was we go there all the time, so it was natural to talk in there.
Mhm.
Like
Ah,
And
I
we
I,
see her there all the
I don't
time.
know.
When we go there after rides and stuff, it's a lot of times we see her there and other people. And it's so we all felt like we're just in a local spot that we all hang out in regularly. So it was kind of cool.
that's really cool. I'm
Yeah.
trying to think. Okay, so the hub is such a good spot. I love every time I visit Bentonville, we go there. Scott,
Mhm.
you and I always grab some food there. I think it was the chicken tacos that I fell in love with last time I was there. So good. So good.
Now they got bowls, and their bowls are so good. Oh,
Oh man. I
they
gotta
got
get
like
back over there.
oh yeah, they got like 3 or 4 different ops, like a Mediterranean bowl, the hub bowl. It's like pork and beans and rice and stuff, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just so filling. Like it's my favorite now.
Damn. Damn.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Were you guys in that back room? Like, where the bar and the register is? There's a room off to the left that has the
Oh,
plasma television in it. Were you guys in there?
yeah.
Or
We
where did they set
considered
you
we
up?
considered doing it in there, but we ended up actually doing it in the center of the room, just because our podcast tech wing is very large.
Yeah.
And so
Oh.
we just like couldn't figure out a way to like fit everything in there and logistically do it in there to where it would make sense. So like we talked earlier about like the half setup versus the full setup, our studio being pretty modular. That was one of the reasons we decided to do it in the middle, so that we could just like get it in there, set it up, be able to work around it, tear it out. And then they started business right after we finished.
Yeah,
You guys broke
I think
down.
one of our strategy in having this opportunity is, in what we've noticed a lot when guests come to the actual studio, is everybody has the same reaction. Oh, wow, this studio is legit. I didn't know it was like this. So we wanted to take that and just bring it to the audience, like, so everybody can actually see it, which worked well at the hub because there were so many people there. I mean at YT, but I mean at the hub itself, but I mean it was closed when we did it because it was before they opened. But at the hub, it's like, I mean, at YT, there was people walking around and just watching us do the show, like right next to us, which was kind of cool. But I think we got a lot of good feedback on people going, wow, this is the actual setup. Like, we're looking at it, and it was kind of cool feeling.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
I remember last year when people were coming in to the mobile studio that we all had, and when you actually are sitting there and you're looking at the cameras and you're looking at the, what do you call it's the display screens that show you what the setup looks like. What are those? Is that what it is? It's like a preview screens. They're all over the place.
Wait, are we talking about in the studio setup?
Yeah. It makes it look so legit. Like you're sitting there and you're like looking down. You're like, okay, that's what that camera sees. And you look over to that screen. You're like, okay, that's what that camera sees. And then you're engaged with the person, and all of the cameras go away. But when you first walk in, you're like, holy cow, this is like a Hollywood setup.
Yeah, no. So like, I think that for the production stuff, the studio is real natural for me because like I came from production, so I'm really just like doing what I did for work, but just for fun. So that makes it easy. But also like the studio is like, it's actually pretty minimal. I know there's a lot of stuff, but like, and obviously I'm not even in the studio right now. The studio is over there and it's a total mess right now. So I'm in the green screen studio right now where we we shoot thumbnails in here.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
But yeah, so like having a multi-view and stuff like that I think is really fun. But like I think that's one of our show like elements that we like to do is like this like live in person. We're standing in front of this person and people are seeing us stand in front of this person and we're just hanging. So again, like Annika, that was a great experience with her. And then the Trail Tech program, obviously we talked a little bit about that, but going on before we move over to YT, I did want to talk about Dialed Action Sports was our last guest that we had at the hub before we moved over.
Who are they? What's that all about?
So like they're we actually unpacked it in the show pretty well, but it's action sports displays essentially. They're trying to get away from what would traditionally be called a stunt show, because the word stunt show kind of infers like a certain thing, like this is just a stunt, when actually we all know that cycling, like it's a skill. There's a lot involved behind it. There's like personality. There's all kinds of things that come into display, but they do, advocacy via action sports shows. And they had brought on one of their pro riders, Andre Burton, which is he's just a crazy guest. Like, me and Scott talked about it. Like, we didn't even get to unpack half the things that this dude does, but like, he's a trials rider and does like these Guinness Book type jumps that are just really death-defying in a lot of ways. They're about to drop one that I think is record-breaking and that we like couldn't talk about on the show.
Oh, wow.
But you know, he also does Ninja Warrior course design.
Whoa.
So like
Whoa.
if you would imagine, like, how do they come up with these Ninja Warrior courses, and who makes sure that you can get through them?
Yeah.
He's that dude.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, it's like, and we got such a great opportunity to like
It's a funny
just
reel.
dive into trials riding, because I just don't know anything about it, and in a lot of ways, like I found so many similarities to skating, you know, because that type of riding, they do urban riding, like they just go around the city, and we were laughing because we were talking about like when you're going through a city, you know, we're skateboarders, so we're like, oh, you can skate that, you know, and you're like thinking about how to skate that, and he
yeah.
does the same thing. He's like, oh, I can, you know, jump from here to there and do all this stuff. So it's like there's a lot of similarities to it.
Wow. Yeah. Like
So crazy.
we're watching, for the folks that are listening into the podcast, we're actually watching a clip from Bentonville Bike Fest, the trials course. I mean, dude, those guys are hopping way up there. What the
Oh,
heck?
dude,
Yeah.
just even think about doing that. Like, it's insane.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that we talked a lot about, which I'm sure that Kenny Belay had a lot to do, if not most to do, with the design and layout of the trials course. But basically, like, how to display trials in such a way where it doesn't look like they're hopping on trash, but it also looks like it's something cool to maneuver around.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's a whole other element of trials that they struggle with.
Wow.
Yeah, and
and
oddly enough, like they also pointed out, like when they do go mountain biking, their uphill tech game is on point. Like
oh yeah,
anything they come across uphill tech
is
is
nothing.
like easy peasy for them.
Yeah.
Jeez, I could imagine. I
Mhm.
seriously, right? Like that
Mhm.
is crazy.
Yep. And
How?
yeah, no, it was there's more. I think there's gonna definitely be more to see in trials stuff in Northwest Arkansas. I definitely don't see them being done anytime soon. So
Yeah.
it's really interesting discipline to see unfold in Northwest Arkansas.
I also thought they opposed to their previous events, this event seemed like they were offering more like availability for people to try it out, you know, like demoing the course, having like some beginner stuff for kids and just people to try out. So I think they were really trying to push it that way, like, hey, get on a bike and let's try some of these small things out and see if you like it, which was
Yeah.
cool.
That is cool. I mean, if you think about it, I feel like it seems like trials is kind of like the redheaded stepchild of the sport. But look, I mean, you look at these, and you're getting exposed. So much of that we can benefit from if we only knew how to do some of these things. And
Well, that's what they actually talk about, is like there's some like kind of core fundamentals in trials that once you learn those, you can apply those to like nearly all of your cycle, you know, right? Like any kind of cycling that you do. And a lot of them are real simple, like something just like as simple as a track stand, where not enough people practice track stands, but it's something that when you're doing a climb can help you a lot. The slower that you can keep your balance, the more agile you are on a climb. It's just that simple.
I believe it. I believe it.
Yep.
I've been watching a little more of the trials because of Aaron Lutzy. You guys know Aaron Lutzy, who was the
Sure.
Red Bull, was he the Red Bull team manager? But now he runs Super Rider
Right.
TV. The dude is insane, and he breaks down a lot of those trial skills that are, like you said, Brandon, things that we can use out in the field on a mountain bike, and it's insane. It's really cool.
I was in the garage on my dirt jumper in the wintertime trying stuff out from his videos.
Yeah, right.
You know, just doing some little basic skills that he would, you know, he's got so many videos of, hey, you can't go out and ride. Here's some stuff you could work on in your garage, you know. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go give it a shot.
Yeah.
I mean, I think one of the best ones really probably not enough people actually do this, would be to like do a track stand and kind of like grip your brakes, but then just hop around both tires, like little mini bunny hops, and just see how you can navigate around things. And one of the things that I love to do is to go up to a curb and like you track stand next to it, hop up to the curb, and then hop down, hop up, hop down. And it's a good, just a little trainer.
Yeah.
That's trials inspired.
Yeah, man, I'm glad that they're doing that. So Kenny, when he probably had a lot to do with this, is he come from a trials background?
Oh yeah. He's one, he's a Red Bull athlete for trials. And so like his involvement in trials is, I would say obviously large in part why Bike Fest has such a heavy trials element. But, at that same token, you got somebody like Colorado Kid in this clip here, where it actually very much seems like he had no exposure to trials until he came and saw this and was like, I got to make a video about this.
Yeah.
I've got to. Yeah. And it's funny. It's like how he's riding around on that actual trials bike, because that's a trials geometry bike. And that's what I imagine I would look like if I got on one of those, because it seems so like foreign. Like
I know. Wouldn't that be weird? I've never even gotten on one, but I'm just like I don't like the bars at all. Like
way out there. Look at that. They're way out there. At the beginning of the clip, we can't play the audio, but the beginning of the clip when he goes, "Where's the seat on this thing?"
Yeah.
Oh, we're not sitting down, pal.
Yeah, you're not sitting. But yeah, it was cool to see, that even like somebody like him was able to kind of see trials, get exposure on it. And that was one of the things that was cool to have Dialed Action Sports on, because we really got to unpack trials, and we never talk about trials on our show. So it was, we talk about a lot of things. we cover a lot of different archetypes on the show. So being able to have trials for essentially the first time was cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. I love that it's getting more inundated into our sport, because there was, like you were saying, hopping up on the curb was a good thing. I had watched a trials rider give a tip on how to like get up a rock when you're out there, and he did it on a mountain bike, but it was a trials skill. He hopped up until his front tire tapped the top of the rock. Like the rock is like higher than your bottom bracket, right?
And you kind of,
as soon as that front tire hits, you bounce it up, and you just it just goes up there. And I was like, that can't be. And I went out and I did it, and I was like, God damn it, it worked.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah. It's that one's a fun one. And it's actually like the more if you look at the geometry of those bikes, and they have like that like such a low top tube and no seat post, basically, or no seat post. That's like where that lift comes from. So like the more slack a mountain bike, like kind of almost the more of that you can get,
Oh, that makes sense. So with the enduro bikes, when we're out there, it's like, hey, I can play around with this.
Yeah. And I think that that's something that, taking the takeaway from that episode was like, I think that, you should probably practice some trials stuff if you want to just be like an overall proficient mountain biker, because you can take a lot of those skills with you on the trail and just kind of, it's actually just like have fun safely, having those skills.
How many times are you ready to go and you're waiting on your buddies farting around and stuff? It's like, just start hopping around on your bike and you got like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm trying to start incorporating that into my wait time for your friends, which always seems to be, part of the program. So
I do love when I'm riding with somebody who has trial skills, and sometimes you hit that really tight switchback, and you see them like either nose pivot into the turn, or they can bring it up on their back wheel and hop around to get through. You're just like, damn, I wish I
you wish you could have that. You wish you could have that. That's
I
right.
need to put that in the trick bag.
Yep.
Oh man, I just want to say, yeah,
check it out in the chat. BV Adventure Co. just dropped us some Wikipedia info.
there they are, right there.
We got
BV
Wikipedia.
Adventure Co. They say Kenny Belay, born 26 January 1983 in Eeklo, Belgium, is a Belgian mountain bike trials cyclist. He holds the UCI record of the most podium spots at a world championship in the discipline of trial. Wow.
See, there you go.
Wow.
Courtesy of Bentonville Adventure Co.
Shout out to
Thank you, sir.
Bentonville Adventure Co. Also, shout out. We got a few folks on here. Sam Parks is
Sam
on the
Parks.
podcast.
Yeah,
Holler,
Sam's
buddy.
boy.
Holler, buddy.
Yo.
The buddies are showing up. We appreciate it.
Yeah,
This is good. Electric Trail
Appreciate it.
Surfer is on there.
Yeah.
yeah, Sacktown boy. What's up?
Yeah.
Mountain Bike Q&A. Johnny
Johnny.
U, he says, I just got back from St. Lucia, but I made it.
Johnny, my brother, what's happening, man?
On the live.
Mhm.
Johnny's awesome. Johnny's
Oh,
awesome.
man.
Emmanuel Jimenez, Purple Heart vet out there in the squad.
Boards.
How do we get one of those boards?
Dang, they might be on a website, narkansaw.com, quite possibly still for sale.
Yeah, the black
okay.
and gold is?
Send them out there.
Yeah,
Heck yeah,
it
narkansaw.com.
might be.
Yeah. There we go.
Yep.
Let's do it. Oh, earlier I was talking about the miles that I did for charity. There it is right there.
Oh,
Tumor
yeah.
Warrior. He's
Oh,
here,
gotcha.
Tumor
That's
Warrior
what you were
Media.
doing it for. I see.
Yeah. He
Yes.
says, what's up, man?
That's
I should have
cool.
got more miles in the month of May.
Yeah, so
it was really bad.
So you did some miles, just not a lot.
Not a lot. And then the
A lot.
e-bike miles are 50 cents to the mile on top of it. So it was like, ooh. So I ended up donating more than I donated more money than the miles that I actually did, just because I was like, I can't donate something miles.
I hate saying it, but I like that you e boys get a little burn. Take it.
BV Adventure Co. says Joseph Oliver is here. That's the one who's behind it there.
Joe, he's our brother.
That is awesome. So
yeah, there's still so many trails that you haven't even seen, man. And just so many other kinds of things to ride and man, just even Tulsa is coming up huge now. They're building like crazy. There's just so much stuff.
Yeah, Turkey Mountains. Yeah, I mean, eventually, I feel like it's going to be like as big or bigger than Slaughter Pen.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
because they're just going hard. I feel like they're building all the time.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are like,
the bike park's coming in 2026, and they're already testing out some of the trails, just to fine tune them, see what's right, see what's wrong. But man, and some of that stuff is gnar, man.
Steve Caballero sent me a video of Jimmy sending that drop.
You sent it so deep.
Yeah, you went deep on that.
Every millimeter of that travel was used on that landing. Oh my god!
That clip, Headbanger.
I think they're gonna smooth that landing out, but I'm just speculating. But that's the one takeaway I heard from that is that the landing is quite impactful.
Well, it's quite impactful, and it looks like they're like planning on having like a jump after it or something, and it's like, if you're gonna hit that hard and then hit a jump after that, like, it's gonna be a lot. But yeah, no, we haven't been out there yet. And I'm really excited to. Like, I mean, I feel like we probably would have had an opportunity during Bike Fest had we not been working the whole time.
We literally didn't ride. You remember Owen?
Yeah.
Mark, do you remember Owen?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He got
came
the
down
demo
and
bikes
hit us
last
up,
year.
and we got to ride with him on Thursday because that was our only time, because we packed up at the hub and we pretty much had nothing going on. So him and I and Brandon just went and cruised around, and he was so stoked, and we had a good time.
Oh man, I miss him. Was he good? How was he? Was he doing good? Did he get a new bike?
Yeah, he's doing great, man. He had a blast. He was here for like 10 days.
Oh man,
Oh,
he
yeah.
really
For a long
planned it.
time. Yeah.
He was partying.
Dude.
We'll get into the YT party, but
Oh,
he
I bet
was
that was crazy.
he was. I've never
We had
seen
a good time at
Owen
the
let
YT
loose.
party for sure.
He was having a good time.
That's my boy.
If
Let's
you
go,
want to
Owen.
know.
Yeah, yeah,
Going
He's
back,
a fun
going
kid.
back to that drop real quick, and then Johnny he put it. He
Yeah.
said saw a video of Matt Jones do it, and it was crazy.
yeah.
Like on camera, it looks big. When we see Jimmy doing it, and he's just in the air forever.
It's much hang
Somebody
time.
was saying, yeah, Cab was saying it was like 2 to 3 times the size of the hammer.
I don't. I did notice that there was a few people that didn't do it, and not calling out any like names or anything. I might not do it, but like that said something to me. Was like, okay, there's a few people that didn't do it, and that it speaks to it probably.
Yeah.
Sounds scary.
It looks,
we haven't gotten to see it, but a lot of our friends have, and it's massive, is what we're hearing. It's pretty massive.
Mm-hmm.
What's the folklore on the size and feet? Do they say? Is there any numbers being tossed around?
It's around 300, and I want to say either 300 or 350 feet of descent, but it's kind of very similar to like Spider Mountain, where you have like this 300 to 400 feet descent, but it's chairlift, and there's going to be a bunch of fingers to hubs and places to peel off. So you're gonna get a lot out of just that 300 plus descent.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the drop. I was like,
oh no.
Jesus.
no. I actually don't know the figure of the drop, the distance. But I know that Gravity Logic is still tuning. So YT, that was one of the things that we were working around moving into like our YT part 2 of the finale, when we were working with YT to get the schedule down. One of the things that they were doing was going and writing and filming, which is when Jimmy did that drop. But they were also just like testing the jumps out and working with Gravity Logic, which is the trail building company out of I think Squamish. I'm not sure. Don't fact check me on that one. But they were getting feedback, and that was one of the cool things, that YT was actually taking pro riders there and giving actual feedback to Gravity Logic to really tune that place up before it opens. So right now they have like their base being built, like the base of the trails, and then I think they're trying to make sure that the shapes are right before they actually start capping stuff with some premium dirt.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So a lot of the footage that we saw were test rides, basically.
Yes.
Then
That's right. Yeah, and a lot of the you can actually see it in the videos. A lot of the trails, they look real speckly, and that's because that's like that rock base. So you want to have that heavier material below the cap, so that will build a more solid foundation and be butter for longer.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, because I was when I was talking to Cab, I was like, dude, I hope you don't go down on that thing. That looks like cheese grater right now with all the rocks on there. But yeah, that makes sense. It's all being worked
So
through.
I feel like it's going to be really nice when it gets open. So looking forward to, if anybody wants to take us out there,
yeah,
hit us up.
Out there. Ooh, my goodness.
Arkansas is ready to come check it out.
They look big.
We got one offer, we just haven't taken him up on it yet.
Well, yeah, that is true. We probably should.
Yeah.
You guys should. It looks big, and it does sound like it's like an invite type of thing, only because you're giving feedback as well.
Yeah,
right?
totally.
It's not open to the public yet.
It isn't. Yeah,
but the weather's here, so the weather's been lame.
Yeah, but no tornadoes this year, right? No bike.
Yeah,
no tornadoes.
No. And actually, it was. Like Saturday was supposed to rain the whole day, and it just didn't. And then Sunday, I think we had Michaela Gatto and Natalie Pete on, and they were doing a ride, and it rained during their podcast, and their ride was right after. But right when the podcast it was over, and there's a ton of stuff to ride on wet weather here. It's not your classic stuff like Kohler and Slaughter Pen, but there's 300 to 500 miles of trails to ride in wet weather. So I mean, you got plenty of options.
It's like designed for it. Was it last year we got caught in the rain? We were at Mad Hatter or an air raid over that Bella Vista area, I think, where we got.
Yeah.
And I know we were pedaling out just because the rain was like getting on us, but the trails seemed to be fine.
Yeah. And there's tons of loops out there that are all over the place. And, Bella Vista is really cool because you can do like 20-mile loops, and you'll do sections that pop out on a street and you cross over and then you drop back in, and you're always climbing out. But when you drop in, it's like they're just flowy, just raw stuff. And we raced in August at the Arkansas Enduro Series. We decided to race, and Bella Vista was one of them. And after the race, I had so much fun, and I was like, why am I not riding this stuff? Like, I live 15 minutes away, and I just started riding it more and more, and I love it now. Like, it's like my go-to. I just love just taking off and doing 15 miles and you get a gnar workout even with the e-bike.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Right in the fat burn zone. Ooh, as we get older, the dad bod, it's creeping in.
And then go spoil it all with some beers right after.
Exactly. We're net even.
Yeah, I'm squared away. These beers canceled out. It's like free beer.
So you guys had some epic guests at the hub. You head on over to the mill, and then it sounded like the first guest at the mill was the legendary Brett Tippy. What was that like?
Very, very much so, man. That was Scott was talking before we started that he was worried if we were going to be able to match the energy. And I was like, man,
I know I can't match the energy. But, I want to say, like, I wasn't nervous because I just really don't get nervous about much, and I'm not like starstruck either, like type of person. But I was just more worried about, like, man, is he just going to be like through the roof energy?
His energy, yeah.
I don't know how to react, but I wasn't really nervous. But man, he was awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
So awesome. Yeah.
But he did come out of the gate with like, the moment we started the show, it was high energy. Like, I mean, like he's doing like a Facebook Live or something while we're doing the show, and he's like introing us as we're introing him. And I was like, I don't even know what's happening right now.
Yeah.
But it was like what was funny, like what Scott was saying, like it wasn't even like no nerves at all, because it was so easy to talk to this dude. Like, it was
like super easy instantly.
Yeah.
Like 30 seconds into it, it was just like, okay, he's bringing that energy, but it's not like overkill, and you can just ask him anything, and he would be serious with you, but in a fun way, and he was great, man. He was really good.
Yeah.
Love Tippy.
I mean, he was definitely, we were talking about it, we love all the guests that we've had on the show, and it's always it's hard to like have favorites, but like that ranks up on like one of like our most favorite.
Sure. I'd have to say, like, it's arguably, like, again, man, they were all amazing.
Yeah.
I think Michaela Gatto and Natalie Pete, man, we had a good time. Like, they were really
It was
cool. Just a lot of laughing and joking around and stuff, and it was just laid back and cool. They were cool.
It really was. That was a great cap to the to the finale, but not to overshadow
anybody.
Big Priv smashed. He was the sandwich in our YT.
In all of it, yeah.
He was the meat. He was the meat. Big Priv was the meat. The meat of our sandwich, of our YT sandwich.
He's like the new kid, you know, kind of the new kid, you know. And he was a good dude, man. We had a good time too. Man, everybody was really cool, man. We were vibing with everybody.
Yeah.
Big Priv didn't he put on a show during the YT party?
Yeah. I think he did a couple tracks, one or two tracks before Paul Wall came on, which was epic. That was fun.
So like the YT party, just like kind of it was really cool to have our show integrated and true partnership with YT and integrated into the party. Because like, you know, it really felt like, you know, we were you know, a part of the festivities there, which was really cool. And like tons of people walked up to us, like asked about Arkansas, the brand, asked about the podcast. You know, we got, you know, a bunch of people just interested in what we were doing, and, you know, large in part for the opportunity of working with YT. But also just like to be involved with the party. So like I'm heavily involved in the production network around Northwest Arkansas. And so I ended up actually helping with the production needs for the party. Which all was like super seamless. You know, we had enough tech there and enough skilled people there to, like, you know, make a cool party very easy.
Damn.
Yeah. And, you know, I think another cool part of it was when we first got there, you know, it was like a lot of people, I mean, the local YT Bentonville knew we were coming, but the San Clemente people were kind of just not really versed on the whole thing. So, you know, we're showing up with tables and monitors, and it was like, okay, what are you guys doing? You know, so it was kind of funny because they were like, you know, they were like going, man, we got to like talk to Jimmy just to make sure. And I knew they were just like, kind of like, the hell's going on here? But after we set it up and after we did Brett Tippy, it was like, I felt like it was like everybody was like, okay, this is pretty dope. You know, like they set this up pretty solid. Brandon came through with the production of it, and, you know, the lighting, the green and purple lights and everything. At the end of the day, I think even Jeff Taylor came up and was stoked on just the whole setup and everything. So I hope they loved it. I hope they like it's mandatory that we come back and repeat. You know, we'll see. But I felt like we came through big time.
Yeah, I think we had a little bit of discussion after. I don't think that we're ready to announce it yet, but it sounds like we'll have a round two.
Dude.
Yeah,
I mean, there's so much more to talk about, you know, like there's, you know, YT has so many.
Look at the picture in the background. See that? You can see
you can see the green. You can see the green and purple glow.
Oh yeah, those are your lights up there.
That's just like our
podcast.
That's our brand. That's our brand. The show colors. So like
in our studio on top of the YT mill.
I think there is a picture in that slide. I don't know where it might. We're in there somewhere.
Right there, talking to Tippy.
There's the back of me. You see the back of me.
Yeah. Look at that.
But that's the studio. Yeah, we got the studio set up there, and it was really cool. Again, you know, can't thank Jimmy enough for connecting with us, and
it was a great opportunity. This opportunity. We had a lot of fun, man. I'm forever grateful just to even do it once. You know,
dude. Look at that. Look at that. Look at the standing room only. That's insane.
Yeah, it went pretty hard. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. And there was just a lot to do. We also, you know, in Arkansas, you know, essentially we helped provide the ability for the YT video jaunt with Justice Berry, and that premiered before the concert.
Oh, sick. So similar format like last year. It was it Fedco that they highlighted? They did the video. Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of like that welcome to Bentonville video.
Yeah, that's right.
Which, you know, again, there's I'm, like I said, being involved in the tech world, I was able to offer my assistance to for the premiere. So that actually went off, you know, seamlessly from what I could tell. And then the party afterwards, I mean, you know, Big Priv opening for Paul Wall. I mean, that was one of the things that we got to talk about.
Sick. So sick.
It was actually really cool because we got to talk. Yeah, John was the video that we premiered, and then you know, talking to Big Priv after, you know, we were able to talk to him after he had done the performance. So it was cool to just kind of get a fresh perspective on just doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just having experience opening for Paul Wall.
So Big Priv's showtime was after the concert. He jumped into the studio.
Yeah, so it was actually the next day. So
sick.
Yeah, because like the party went till all night.
Yeah.
Very late.
True YT fashion.
I mean,
True
even when it
YT
was
fashion.
over, it took forever for people to leave. I mean,
Yeah.
outside, I mean, it was probably good 1 o'clock before
people kept the party going the whole time. But yeah, so there was no way that we were going to be able to do another show after that. That was kind of logistically, we really did some logistical gymnastics because between like our commitments at the hub, and like I said, we had the show 9 o'clock Friday. We did in like an hour and a half, then tore down, loaded it in a trailer, drove to YT, moved it upstairs, reset everything up, and then had Brett Tippy right then. And then once we were done with Tippy, literally we sound checked Paul Wall right after that. Like we shut off the live, and then we were sound checking on the stage. So we were working with production, like, you know,
instantly, and the video premiere, like,
and the video premiere.
Doing the testing on that too.
Mm-hmm. There was just a bunch of logistics that we had to manage kind of on the fly. But you know, all worked out.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
How did it go with the internet this year? Did you guys
great question,
like tap into the hub and then tap into YT, or did you have your own?
Great question.
It was amazing.
It was amazing. Yeah, because we actually, you know, you would imagine, you know, any business would, when you know, ordering their internet would have like enterprise level service, and it was very much that. You know, we had both locations. I was able to just run a hard line, and that was, you know, amazing. You know, rewind back to Bike NATO. we not only were we trying to broadcast off of a hotspot, there was a tornado brewing. What did we think? What were we thinking?
Yeah,
we pulled it off somehow.
We did. That was a lot of work. I mean, you know, between like you know, just like the pre-tapes and like trying to get the files to you, because like, you know, last year we were trying to kind of make up for last year with you, Mark. And the segment, because we wanted to have some shows with you in Bentonville with a normal environment.
I know, and then I couldn't make it on top of it. God damn it.
We'll get you back. We'll get you back.
Definitely.
And I mean, honestly, like, you know, another thing about YT is just, as far as Northwest Arkansas is going, they're not going anywhere.
Yeah. No.
So I mean,
I feel like, and I feel like they feel the same way, but like we fit the vibe. Like, you know, it's a good collaboration. Just, you know, we're all kind of, a lot of us come from a skate background, so it's like we all get the vibe that, you know, they get us, we get them. We know that aesthetic, you know what I mean? We know what they're doing, you know, like just the way Jimmy films, the way Jimmy does everything, like we get that, you know what I mean? It's like, it's just a good mix to me.
Yeah, it totally is. Like, Jimmy definitely comes from the skate background, you know. Jeff Taylor was a pro skateboarder, obviously, on the squad. We have Steve Caballero. We have, you know, all of us that come from skate background that see the world in a different way and was exposed to things a different way. It's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Really cool.
And even, I don't know if Tony's still affiliated, but De Silva, you know, had a connection with YT, and he was a pro skater too. So it's like, it's like as soon as you start picking up on that, you're like, I like these guys because they kind of they're going to know me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We're similar. We have similar DNA set up.
100%.
And our shins probably look similar.
Either from pedals or from skateboards. One of the two. But yeah, that was, me, we actually talked a lot with Jimmy. I mean, it's kind of like this, it's very sad because I think we have this kind of like private conversation that has turned into probably the best podcast episode that's never aired, because we keep talking about this like deep connection between skateboarding and mountain biking, and how we're working that in on the like the brand aesthetic side. But it's like it's such a deep conversation because it's rooted in so many different sectors and shows itself in so many other ways. But then also there's stigma that comes behind skateboarding. I mean, we can't hide from that part of it, but it's also like the edge that makes you core. So it's like, how much do you hide from it? It's like, kind of having like a riddled past, and do you not talk about it? I was in prison when I was young. But like and YT kind of has that aesthetic that I feel like, skaters are attracted to. And we have that conversation often with Jimmy. So one day we're probably going to have a super episode where we unpack the skateboard mountain bike tie in full.
I love it. Maybe even we can tie in Dylan Stark on that one, because like us growing up as skateboarders, we were so, back in the day, it was not popular at all. And a lot of us were very, very much like doing it for the passion, for the love, but we were overlooked a lot. Oh, he's a skateboarder.
Oh yeah,
kind of get overlooked, like whatever. But meanwhile, you're out there just you versus you trying to accomplish things. And then you look at somebody like Dylan Stark in the BMX world. I feel like he was so overlooked.
Oh yeah,
and it's just serendipitously beautiful that he's a YT rider, because here he is now, like in that same type of realm of being overlooked, but still proving yourself and being tough as nails. It's really cool.
Yeah, that would easily be a natural guest for us. We were working on it, but the stars did not align for even him to be at Bike Fest this year. So
I think that dude had a very full schedule.
Yes,
but that's one of the cool things about Bike Fest and our odd number seasons, because they always coincide with like our finale. And this is just naturally how we made the show, and we didn't even mean for it to happen. But our odd number shows? Our odd number shows always finale at Bike Fest.
That's really cool.
It's just the way that our timing works out when we normally start our season run, and when we do our calendar, it just ends Bike Fest, and we're like, okay, I guess we're doing Bike Fest finale.
Want to know what the coolest part about it is we don't know what we're gonna do for the finale.
Don't tell them, Scott. You can't. You broke the code.
No, that's the exciting part, man. We're just like, we're gonna pull something off. Maybe the people need to know that, so that you know what I mean. It's
true. Like, all right.
It's like, hey, I think these guys don't know what they're gonna do. Let's see what they pull. Let's
see what they pull out of their ass.
Exactly.
And I mean, so like, all right, fine.
We keep raising the bar, though. I mean, that's the only sucky part,
Yeah. But okay. So I will say though that one of the cool parts about it, one of the reasons that we're never scared about kind of, I won't say winging finale, but like we go into the unknown.
Really
is that
like freestyle rapping?
We definitely freestyle. But I will say, because Bike Fest brings a lot of like influencers and pro riders into Bentonville for that time, we're kind of blessed because like we have this opportunity to meet up with people that we normally wouldn't have. I mean, Andre Burton, he came for Bike Fest with the Dialed Action Sports people, but I mean he came for these times. You know, Tippy, he's coming for Bike Fest. You know, Briv played, you know, for the party for Bike Fest. I mean, it was an unofficial party at YT Bike Fest party, but it was the place to be on Friday night. I mean,
yeah, 1 year
I really
anniversary too, right?
yeah, right, Scott.
Yeah,
What's that?
yeah,
It was a 1 year anniversary.
I
Yeah,
think
well,
so.
yeah, it was
yeah,
their 1 year
yeah.
anniversary.
I easily could have glossed over that.
Yeah, it was a rager.
But yeah, there was yeah, it's on the flyer, of course. So
Good
that's how
times.
mental I was about everything that we were doing. Is like once everybody put out media, I was just like, all right, focus on the details. There's so much
Smart.
work to do. Focus on the
Smart.
details. And we had everything booked so early on. Like we had just everything locked in. We knew what we were doing.
That's
We
huge.
did have one guest that fell through that we're pretty bummed about, but you know, we didn't announce them on the flyer, so it was okay. But we'll get him on the next one.
We'll get him on the next one. Yeah, but I think that was the key to the successful part of it is you know, having everybody locked in. You know, I mean, that's a big part of it. We are doing this, you know, and Jimmy's got such a crazy schedule. He's organizing this whole entire party.
Oh
And
yeah.
so, you know, we were being pushy too, you know, but we have to be, you know, we got to try and, you know, we want to give the best show, and the best show and performance we can give is by being planned, you know, and knowing what we're going to do. So I hope he appreciated that, even though we were, you know, kind of being pushy on, hey, what are we doing? What are we doing? You know, but man, he just did a fantastic job on just putting all this together, and I think we did too.
Yeah, it looks like you guys killed it. I mean, it looks so seamless, which is freaking cool and hard to do. I mean, man, what a difference from last year when we had weather and internet. And last year we were juggling guests because, you know, we were trying to book for the first time, but they're being pulled so many different directions.
Yeah. And we really thought that year, we were planning, we planned early on, Mark, to try to get in front of stuff. But, you know, even where we were located at Kohler, we thought was going to be close enough to Bike Fest. But I think that when you take out the element of like actually either being in Bike Fest or just being somewhere that is convenient, regardless of what it is. We had the hub in YT, and it's like everybody knows if you know YT, you know you can go in there any time of the day. You know, they're there. There's plenty of people there to help you. And then, you know, the hub, we go there like all the time, and it's you know, hospitality, feels homey. You know, like it was just we walked in. That's how it kind of felt to me, because I work in production. Like I was walking into venues, like these were just set up venues ready for us, prepared for us. You know, we just had so much planned, and I think that's what Bike NATO season finale of, I think that was season 3. That's what that taught us, was that, you know, having some well thought out plans is what's going to get us through this.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's likely we found a home, you know, like in both spots. I mean, even recapping with the hub and management, you know, I was like, hey, shoot us straight. What'd you think? Man, you guys were awesome. You guys, you know, put on a good show. You got everything out of here. Let's run it back. I mean, that was his words. Let's run it back. And so I'm stoked. Like I think we made a good impression, and we may be a part of something in the future for this. And, you know, I'm stoked on it.
I'm stoked for you guys. And I thought the killer move there too was working with like team managers like Jimmy and being able to get on the roster, so to speak, where you can see like that these guests are down to the minutes. It's like, okay, there's a 30-minute block right here, or there's a 1 hour block right there. Like we can get them there and get them in. that was key. 'Cause I feel like last year we were working almost against it because I didn't notice that was
That's
a
true.
thing, you know?
Yeah. I think that we being able to work with the person that's booking the talent in other places made it to where he could book us, book us into that schedule. And so like, for instance, I did want to, I can't speak enough how great our finale episode was with Michaela and Natalie. Like, we had such a good time. It was like, we almost like couldn't stop laughing because it was just like ridiculous nonstop. But like, they had a women's ride that day, and we were booking our schedule around the women's ride, but then there was also the weather. And so, just having, like you said, a team manager there that's like working with us to ensure the schedules are aligning.
Yeah, that's cool.
We didn't have that before. We were trying to sneak essentially people into the RV to get those shows done.
And the talent was letting us know, like, okay, well, let me check in because I'm here on their dime, so I need to find out how much time I have. When
so we were trying to schedule on the fly, like, hey, can we get you in 30 minutes? And it's like that was rough. I mean, but that was exciting too. It's a different kind of a vibe, but it's way better to have everything like scheduled and man, kudos to all the people, man. Honestly, from Annika Bearden that had to show up early, rap with us for a little bit, and then head out to her schedule was packed, to Tippy, going, I got to come over here and do this podcast real quick, and chopping it up to like kind of like we almost couldn't end the show. We were just going to keep on talking. It's like I'm glad. I hope I'm right in thinking that he walked away going, those were cool dudes, and I could have talked for another 30 minutes, if I had had the time. I think all the conversations were great.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the Michaela episode. I don't know much about her. I mean, I know she's a free writer. From what I can see, she's freaking rips.
Dude, yeah. Have you seen some clips? She is insane.
Yeah. I saw some of the stuff where she was in Virgin, Utah, and it was just like, good grief.
Dude, she goes for it, man. She is very skilled, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And she actually had a trip to Oaxaca recently. There's like a mountain bike like adventure thing that happens out there, and it's kind of like a women's sort of retreat.
That's cool.
But like live on the show, I think we planned like Natalie Pete, she was like, I think that we're making the plan to go there this year. Like I'm a part of this now, and like locked it in on the show. But then like, like I think that, there's a lot of stuff that she's working with YT and getting opportunities. I know that she's apprenticing in San Diego for tattoo work.
Oh, wow. With Angelo?
I think so. Nice. I'm not 100%, but like I know that it's being connected, internally with YT support. That's amazing.
That's amazing.
Obviously, you would expect that.
Cool.
But that's a kind of proof to one of the things where working with YT isn't just like it doesn't just start and stop. Octodad in the house. Goodness, my brother, always. that diehard guest, and we appreciate that.
Love him.
But yeah, like it's nice to see that YT provides so much support outside of just writing. Like even like to touch on Big Priv, that YT set up a music opportunity for Big Priv to open for Paul Wall. That wasn't, I mean, that's normally something that happens with like a music producer and a manager, like a booking manager or something like that. Yeah. For YT to like step in and be that vehicle, like that's super cool. I mean, like that's the crowd that Priv got to play in front of.
Jeez.
Right there. Mm-hmm. And that came from the opportunity of working with YT and as an ambassador, a rider ambassador. So
Yeah.
So it's cool, like, with Michaela, like, for YT to be thinking about her like tattoo talents and then just stuff beyond the bike is really cool. So yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to be, keeping an eye on, her career, and it's going to be cool to see.
That's really awesome. Yeah, Jeff Taylor, he is very nurturing, as the president. He's very like approachable, very nice, but he's also a dad, and you can see a lot of this culture, how he's cultivating, like Big Priv getting the opportunity to open for Paul Wall, Michaela with the whole tattoo thing. A lot of the guys that were in the San Clemente mill are now over at the Bentonville into higher new positions where they're promoted, like Jeff Nicholas. You got Chris King out there.
Absolutely.
Running the show. It's
shout
impressive.
out.
It's really cool. Yeah.
Those dudes came in real clutch working for us.
I love Jeff, man. He's so cool.
They helped us out. They helped us out so much. And and just, well, I mean, really, and also, I mean, aside from help, I mean, maybe even more just like trusting us, like for Arkansas to come in and do well, like on for them, we're on stage essentially too, and we didn't want to disappoint, and I don't think we did. It was like, if I definitely implore everybody to go and check out the so on YouTube, Arkansas, search Arkansas or YouTube /Arkansas, and then the playlist, we have them separated between part 1, part 2, the hub and YT. So check those out and experience what we experienced, because it was really cool. I think one of the best things, and Mark, I know this, so I love to say this with you, is that with the podcast, we always feel like we get to tell the stories. Like, and funny enough that we're doing this show of the stories, telling the stories. We're like the dude filming the dude filming the dude. But like, it's like we get to tell the stories, the deeper stories of the culture, and like, Michaela and Natalie unfolding their stories on our show, like they were literally learning things about each other on our show.
Yeah, I mean, they've been kind of just working together recently, and they thought they were pretty tight, and we uncovered something that like Michaela didn't have any idea, and you got to watch it. It was hilarious. But
there was a lot of good stuff.
Gnar. Like, she's got a different kind of gnar, and you got to go watch the episode to find out what that is. But it was pretty funny, man. We had a good time with that segment for sure.
It's cool how YT's bringing on like the new talents each year. There's like a new ambassador, teammate. I mean, like Big Priv getting the opportunity as well to hop on. And I don't know much about Natalie's background. Was she also free rider as well?
Well, I think Scott was alluding to to find out more.
Oh yes,
check our show out. But I will say, like, the big shocker was that she's actually more of a like a gravel discipline.
Bike packer is
like that, bike packing. And
oh, cool.
To kind of see, we know Gnar from like jumping off stuff, dropping off stuff, tricks, whatever. That's the kind of Gnar we know. She was like saying some Gnar that we were shocked by.
It was too Gnar.
It was too Gnar. We were like getting broken on the show. Like it was very uncomfortable, but also awesome at the same time.
It was funny, man.
Yeah.
Dang, that is a good
And
hook.
she was such a good sport, man. She was great.
It was great. It really was.
Just two great people, man. They were just a lot of fun.
I love it. I'm definitely going to listen to the shows for sure. I really want to know more. And then I also want to know more about Big Priv too. I mean, I got to reach out and see if he'd be willing to jump on my show. But
Oh, I
yeah,
think he would.
Oh,
Yeah,
he would in a heartbeat.
we'll connect the dots. He's homie now.
Yeah.
that's awesome.
And yeah, he's actually, you know, he's looking forward to some opportunities, you know, to connect with people in the space.
Nice.
Mhm.
That is cool. So with all those guests coming in, did you guys ever find yourself like, I know it's crazy when we're in show mode, there's never a chance to like look up and pat yourself on the back. Oh, you almost feel like out of body. Like if my little kid self of me would be looking at this going, dude, no way. But you're in the moment, so you don't really have a
Mhm.
chance to. But did you ever get those moments where you look back and you're like, this is crazy. This is freaking awesome. Or was it like,
I do in the sense that like 5-10 minutes into it, you're just, there's no nerves, there's no nothing. You're just being normal. And, you know, we freestyle, we do a little bit of background work, but I mean, we don't, you know, I don't know how other podcasts work, but we just wing it. You know, we don't really know what we're going to ask. We just let it go. I mean, that's kind of the whole premise behind Naturally Gnar. We're just going to have a conversation like random. And when you just 2 hours later of talking to somebody and you walk away going, man, we just had a really good 2-hour conversation and we didn't plan any of it. And I was completely like, felt like I was talking to a regular person that, you know, doesn't have all these accolades and accomplishments and stuff. And then it's afterwards when you're just like, oh man, I just talked to a super rad person, you know, and I don't know if that makes sense.
I mean, if anybody, Scott, if anybody's gonna to relate, it's this guy. Because you've had on a ton of guests. That are like, you know, like have accolades and stuff. So it's like, it's funny that we're having this conversation with you on the show, because it's like, if anybody gets it, you do. And it's I feel like we have that common bond, you know.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Like you're talking to these people, and then it's like afterwards. I love how you said that, Scott. It's afterwards when you think about it, you're like, holy shit, that's pretty cool. That
yeah, I wasn't a complete buffoon the whole time, you know. It's like I really was just being myself, you know. I didn't blow it at all, you know. And it's like, and, you know, it's like I could have easily blown it, you know. I always think of, I'm old, so I don't know if anybody's going to get this, but if you ever watch the Brady Bunch and Cindy Brady on live TV on a game show, and as soon as the red light went on the camera, she just went, and she couldn't like answer any questions. Like I always feel like I'm going to do that, and then I just don't.
It's funny how we all have our insecurities at times. I remember, you know, Scott, talking to you before on podcasts and shows. You're like, I just hope I don't freeze up when the red light turns on. Everybody has something. I always think like, what if I can't think of the next thing? What if I can't transition into the next thing? But when you're in conversation, it just is, it's natural. It just happens. I don't know, Brandon, do you have anything that you're afraid of? Or
he's a good person to ask, because before he answers that, like, Brandon's amazing, dude, as a host. Like I couldn't do it, you know. Like my role is the co-host, because he's just great at what he does and just starting conversation and keeping it going, and it allows me to chime in, but I couldn't do what he does, you know. So go ahead, answer that question. You're the perfect dude to ask.
Well, I mean, I'm seasoned and fitted for this job, because not only like was I like a stage performing rapper that was on stage having to perform my material. I've spent like a whole career after that is that working on shows, and I've done concerts, tons of concerts that have kind of set me up for this, like just running a show. And I think the big difference for me is like, I've always been used to running other people's shows. And then it's like, now I got to run our show. And that is like, is a whole other dynamic that I I'm so nervous because I mean, like, you know, Mark, I know you know this too. Like, you're running the tech behind your show right now. I
Where's
have
Joey?
like, where's Joey?
Where's
Right? I wish I had a Joey. That's what I was about to say. Was that like I'm so vulnerable when we do these shows because I'm running the tech and I'm hosting at the same time. But our tech is kind of on steroids, and I'm just I got to give a rap sample on this show.
Oh, dang.
I don't know. Honestly, like remembering stuff like freestyling is a craft, man. Freestyling is like skateboarding.
Mm-hmm.
When you do it all the time, it's very comfortable. But like when you don't do it and you just try to like hop on a skateboard in front of a bunch of people, then you definitely don't do a kickflip. You do a body flip, and then you knock yourself out, and you go to the hospital, and you have a $12,000 bill. So that would be if I rap.
Where would people go if they wanted? Is some of your rap stuff still out there? Can people download
I think so.
it?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think our SoundCloud was still active. I was a part of a rap group for a number of years called High Minded Crew, HMC. Oh, you guys are killing me.
They want it. They want freestyle.
I mean, I
used to own
remember
a skateboard shop, and we put on shows, and he'd perform, and then we had some other buddies that had a punk rock band, and they'd perform, and we'd do all kinds of stuff back in the day.
Yep.
Dang.
Yep.
Can I give you a beat? Is there anything I could do? Can I help?
I mean, I could probably just do it without a beat.
Yeah.
I mean, I can probably remember one verse.
Here we go. We got to set it up. Here we go. Solo layout. Here we go. Whenever you're ready. This is for the chat tonight.
This is so hilarious. I did not plan on doing this today. Okay. There's a couple of things that I know a lot about. That's music, skating, and blowing the smoke clouds. I hope now I've given you the know-how to know me and my tendencies when I'm around. I laugh loud, drink beers, and pull the grass out, then dash out to the stash spot to pass out. But that ain't it. The studio's making smash hits. I pass it to my man C4 to cash it. We keep going and keep flowing the hot shit and drop shit, then throwing fists like a mosh pit. It's kind of toxic for giving you life. Hot rhymes bring your taste bud like cinnamon spice. Man, I can't.
There you go.
Yo, that was solid, bro.
Oh man.
Love it, dude. Love it.
I've stood on stage multiple times and had to do shit like that.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. So
that's funny.
Seasoned. There you go. Electric Trail Surfer saying, "What a legend!
Yo.
I love it."
What are we doing? What are we doing on the show?
That was dope. That was dope getting to know the host of the Naturally Gnar Show. Heck yeah, dude.
It's funny.
Whoa,
but yeah, so anyways, like I think my rap name was Phenomenon, and it's spelled like F-N-O-M-E-N-O-N.
Sick.
I can't believe I still remember like how to like
rattle
that off. But anyways, yeah, so Phenomenon on SoundCloud. So like SoundCloud, Phenomenon, and then High Minded Crew. I think it's just Phenomenon is where all the last stuff. But anyways, yeah, MySpace. There's probably still a MySpace out there, and like that was the era in which we were doing that stuff. So
it would have it out there.
They definitely would. They definitely would. But you know, I guess something that would make me nervous is somebody asking me to rap on a live show. So there's that.
That's the start. Everyone's gonna ask for it now.
But yeah, no. So like, I think, going back to like nerves, like I can speak to that same concern where I've always had that worry that I wasn't going to be able to like keep conversation. But a lot of times when you get with people and you break it, when you break the shell and you finally like make it through, it's so comfortable. Like, we've had so many guests on that, and I definitely won't name names because, it is a vulnerable thing whenever you start this kind of like cracking the shell, people
Mhm.
don't like it at first, but then once the shell's cracked, you just become homies and you just start talking. And then, you know, like Scott said it earlier, when we first started our show, we were always thinking about researching guests and like having like this big list of things and all this stuff and whatever. And we just have the best shows just being natural, which is why I think our show being called Naturally Gnar is so fitting for us, because we're just some natural dudes just hanging, just being us.
And we're just lazy.
And we're also lazy. Yeah, I'd be worse. Scott, we're like literally working. Many times we're like doing shows and we're like,
it's like, just bring them on and we'll figure out something.
Brandon had this beautiful, eloquent tee up, and then Scott was just like, we're just lazy.
We're just lazy.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think it's lazy.
We're into freestyling, man.
Yeah,
I
think that's the best. You know, it's like very genuine, because it's like questions you want to ask. It doesn't sound so fake or polished like you have on cable television, where everything's been rehearsed and everything. It's just like, give the people like what they would hope to listen to.
Yeah, I mean,
Natural
you're right, and to be honest, like it is kind of our method to our madness is, you know, when we pivoted to the Naturally Gnar Show, we really did want to be natural, and so we did talk about like being more scripted, and it just didn't make sense. You know, it was like, you know, we Naturally Gnar is like, we want to have natural conversations, and how can you have a natural conversation if you're being robotic and asking checklist questions? You know, it's like, and it's nothing against people to do that. It's just that, you know, we wanted to have an aesthetic to our brand and what we do. And we felt like, you know, we talk to people all the dang time, you know, like we out on the trails, and we'll sit there, and I'm an e-bike rider, so talk smack all you want. I don't really care, but my bike shuts off all the time because I'm yapping out there. And it's like, that's what we want to do. We just want to have a conversation naturally.
Yeah. I know. I hate that when you're having a good conversation on the top of a trail and you go to drop in.
You drop in and
like,
it's
no, my bike's off.
Yeah. And you're like, that happens to me all the time.
Animals are like, take it, sucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just feel like that's like one of the best parts about riding, though, is that like I have good conversations with people just out there, you know, like just usually at the hubs, not riding. It's hanging out and bullshitting with people at the top, and you know, that's, I feel like, where you meet a lot of people, and you know, where everybody's trying to relax.
I will stay electric for sure.
Yeah. You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah,
you don't have to worry about that.
Plugged in for life, man.
Life. E-bikes are in existence now, so there's no going back for Scott.
Oh, no.
But yeah, some of the best conversations do happen on the trail, like before dropping in, or even after. You know,
right?
Like you talk about a feature. I never saw anybody hit that feature that direction or that line, and then that leads into the conversation, and then it's cool. You can almost go alone and make a best friend all of a sudden.
Like even like when we talked to Jeremy at Bike In, you know, and all these random people that stay at his place, and then they all go hang out at the campfire in the back, and it's kind of the same. It's kind of like a Naturally Gnar show. You know, you got a bunch of people you don't even know, and you're probably having the coolest conversations. And I think that's what we're trying to emulate, you know, something like that. Just, you know, we don't know you, but I think we can have an hour and a half conversation with you that's interesting for sure.
Oh yeah. How did you guys get a chance to see Jeremy this year? Or I mean, he's there all the time.
Yeah.
What am I talking about?
Yeah, well, and
I love that dude.
We've kind of, I mean, you know, especially after the show, I will say, like, we've definitely become more friend than before. But he's just a solid fixture of the mountain bike scene around here. So I mean, it kind of doesn't matter. Me and Scott talk about Jeremy in the context of like going into events. Like, he's one of those guys that you will see at almost every, if not every, mountain bike event. because he's just that dude on the grind, pushing the bike in and making sure everybody knows what the bike in is, and doing that marketing, you know.
Yeah, and you can tell that he's having a blast doing it, and that's
he's living
it.
He's living
That's
it.
so cool. I know I get excited whenever I see content and I see the Freedom Shuttle in the background or people getting into the Freedom Shuttle. I'm like, there's Jeremy.
Yeah.
No, he does what he's supposed to do to get that brand known. And you know, so it's good to have an ally like Jeremy. You know, we're super appreciative of that. And you know, if the code is still active, there is a discount code for from season 5 that he graciously gave to all our listeners. So
that is awesome, man. That is awesome. That is awesome. I love it out there. I got to get back out there, you guys. Dude, it's been so amazing having you guys on the show. It's great to see you guys, and congratulations on another amazing season ender. Holy cow.
5 seasons in already. It's wild.
That is
and you know, Casa de Ripple is always available.
Yes, I gotta get
the pool is just getting better and better back there. So
we've been just kind of just working on.
You didn't even get to like hang in the pool last time. You just got to work on
we had to chainsaw the pool free.
We were chainsawing a tree out of the pool from the tornado last year. And literally it just opened the day before, right? Your pool?
Yeah, it was open that Saturday, and Saturday night, that's when all the trees fell in the pool.
That was amazing. We were down
we do have an above ground shelter now because Leanna just doesn't like the underground one. So now we got 2 shelters. So
now there's 2 shelters.
Yeah,
so
nice. For extra more people.
Dude,
you can have your own. Your
Ripple
comes with its own storm shelter.
I'm telling you, Casa de Ripple is where it's at.
That's a pretty, you know, I mean, that's something the bike in might not even have that.
No, you can get your own custom storm shelter.
Everyone's running into the Freedom Shuttle. Jeremy, scoot over.
We're gonna ride this thing down.
Exactly. Let's go. Oh my gosh. I remember for the folks that are listening, there was that tornado last year, and I remember getting a knock on my bedroom door. I don't know, Scott, what time was that? Like 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning?
1 in the morning, yeah, I think
1 in the morning. I was like, hey, Mark, the tornado is going to hit. We do need to get down into the shelter. You up? I was like, am I dreaming?
Yeah. And you're like, you weren't panicked though, but I think you were like in disbelief that this was real. Like maybe this is not so real. And I was too, to be honest with you, but when we were looking through those holes, you know, and I could see my garage like
just
going like this,
in and out.
Like, oh, this is getting real, you know. And then after it was all said and done, and to know that like 2 miles down the road there was buildings and houses flattened, I was like going, oh man, that really happened.
Dude, and it sounded like a freight train when at the peak of it all. Remember, because it was like quiet. We were listening to the radio. Dude, first of all, Leanne is, if anything ever happened in this world, like catastrophic, Leanne would survive because she had everything.
She had everything.
It was amazing.
We
she had that dial-in radio. Yeah, we were listening to everything. And then remember that there was one guy, we were listening to multiple media outlets to let us know what was happening. And there was one guy that was like fearmonger. He kept telling us like,
it's the Bill Hader guy. You know, it's like there's a tornado. But yeah, luckily everybody got to the shelter. You know, he's that guy.
Exactly. How many pounds does it take to break a human skull? It's like, oh no, we got to change this channel.
Doesn't sound like productive conversation.
No. But Leanne had us safe, and we were all down in that bunker. So now that it's nice to know we have 2, which would be 2
bunkers now,
which is sick.
Hopefully, you won't need it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the first time
we only need one bike NATO. Right? Yeah.
Well. If you can come early October, man, that's when it's just so perfect here.
Yeah, we talked about that's when
Outer Bike,
I think
comes through. Yeah. And we talked about that, trying to line one of those up. So
that would be fun. That would be super fun. October.
I mean, there's
all right.
There's a bike park to come check out.
I know. And
by that time, it'll be fully good to go, I'm sure.
So is it a rumor? Are they putting a lift? Is it gonna be lift operated?
Yeah, it is.
Stop it.
And
the last I heard, it's going to be fully open 2026. But I think if you came and we can get enough connections to go check anything out that's not really open, but I think we could figure it out.
And then there's also Mina that's going to have lifts as well. Three different chair line lifts.
Yeah, I really think, dude, if you came out to where it's not Bike Fest and we can just focus on checking out some spots, like the Mina place, it's like a 2.5 hour drive, but like, we can get an Airbnb for a night and go check that out. And it's gnarly up there, and it's the most elevation, right?
Yeah, it's going to be like our largest elevation. Ponca currently is most elevation, but it's like kind of like single track, a little overgrown, but it's on the Buffalo and pretty cool. I think the big thing that I would love for most people that even come to Northwest Arkansas for Bike Fest is, like we talked about this, whenever you come for Bike Fest, everybody's like, let's ride Bentonville. We're in Bentonville, ride Bentonville trails for Bentonville Bike Fest. But like, most of the most of the shredders around here love one of the most loved trails is Leatherwood, and it's not in it's 45 minutes away.
45 minutes, yeah.
And so we know, when we do all these Bike Fest things, nobody goes to Leatherwood, and Leatherwood is like everybody's favorite. And it's like, we exclude stuff like that. And then there's places in, Fayetteville has Centennial and Kessler, Devil's Den just south of that. We talked about Mina just before that. There's Mount Nebo. There really is countless things that are starting to develop around here. And Bentonville Bike Fest just gets this hyper focus on Bentonville, which is, it's worthy of that, but I feel like there's going to be a time where it's like, we need like an Arkansas Bike Fest. Because there's just like so much that is not being
or just a homie Bike Fest. Like, bring a couple of your homies out and let's just go venture out for a week, and every day we can go check out all these spots that you would get the opportunity to see during a regular Bike Fest, where all the hype and hoopla is all gathered around this one spot,
Yeah. I think after like the second or third visit, to the Bentonville Bike Fest, I mean, obviously Bentonville trails are amazing and worthy of the trip for sure. But God, there's so much. You guys bring up a good point. October, when I come out in October, I want to see a little more. Just the last time I came out, we got to go out to Air Raid, and that's a section I never got to touch from the first time.
Before, and Wonderland, where with the step up and Mad Hatter, Wonderland, Mad Hatter, like where we met Steve and when it was pouring down rain, and he's like, he was, am I going the wrong way? And I'm like, yeah, dude, you are. And I'm like, hold it. You look like somebody I've seen on YouTube before.
Spokesman, that's right. He was trying to find us. That was funny. Amazing. In the pouring rain.
Another amazing person, man. What a great dude.
That's funny.
Yeah. And speaking of the Bentonville, real quick, Electric Trail Surfer saying, do you guys drop the hammer? That looks scary. So let's set that up. The hammer is, 12 feet off the ground, would you say? 12 feet off the ground?
About 12.
I mean, I'm at 10 or 12.
And then the landing.
And it's about, I want to say the out actually isn't that bad. It's probably 6 out.
Yeah.
If that. And then it's got a ton of grade to land in as well. So like, one of the things I always say about the hammer is I've seen somebody go the fastest I've ever seen on the drop. And I've also seen somebody go the slowest ever on the drop, and they have all made it.
I think the slow.
I
The
don't
slower
recommend
you
the
go,
slow.
the more scarier it is. I've
not
seen people
recommend
go
slow.
real slow, and I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh,
Ooh.
But
Front
for the
tire wants
most
to come
part, man,
down.
it's a lot of bark and less bite. I don't want to say it's no bite, but you definitely got to have some riding skill, but it's not as hard as you think.
Yeah, I feel like the way that they built it, I think somebody was one of the Waltons just so happened to be there the first time I was looking at doing it, like going for
Oh,
it, and I was with
interesting.
Riding Dirty,
Mhm.
and he said, you know, the way that this was built was like the natural drop of your front tire is going to match the landing. You just
Mhm.
2 to 3
Yeah.
pedals off the top, and the natural drop of your front tire is gonna obviously you do the drop technique and everything. You don't just
Mhm.
like, you know,
Yeah,
not
you
prepare the
can't just
drop.
be limp and just let your front tire just fall off of it. I mean, but if you like, if you're in control of your bike and you're the master of the bike, you'll be
Mhm.
fine.
Yeah. And I felt like that was like the scariest in my head until I did the first one. And then after that,
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, okay,
Like, this is
I got
nice.
That was not hard at
nice.
all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's actually nice. I often relate it to rolling into a grassy hill. Like when
Oh, there
you're
you
a
go.
kid, you always looked for like that grassy kind of like flat, and then it had like a drop after, and you would just try to like pedal as much as you could and jump
Yeah.
to try to like get a little bit of air to land in
Right?
the grass. I feel like that's what it is. Like it's just grass, and then just imagine they just kind of cut a cross section out of that, and you're clearing that natural thing that you would just roll and catch a little
Yeah,
air on
like
you.
think about it. If there was a ramp from the takeoff to the landing,
It wouldn't be scary at
you
all.
would do it all day long, and you would
Oh, yeah.
never touch that ramp.
And you
would
wouldn't
not.
even touch it. Yeah.
You
So
wouldn't
like
touch
there's
it.
the new spot, and I still have to break my cherry on that one. But there's a big roller before a step up, and I see people just like clear this like huge roller like waterfall, and there's a bunch of planks, and they clear 10
Almost all of it.
15 20
You
feet,
can see their tires like hovering over, but they're not even
but
touching.
they're not even touching it. Yeah. So it's like
Mm.
that's the thing, is like with these drops, like if you just kind of deleted the section that you were going to kind of catch air on anyways, you're just doing a
Yeah.
drop,
Really all you're
Honest.
doing.
and that's what
Yeah.
drop the hammer is. It's the most forgiving drop I might have ever seen.
Yeah. I do like how deep it is too. Like you can go deep on
Like
that
I said, I've
landing.
seen the fastest, I've seen the slowest, and the fast goes deep. And I don't recommend that either.
Yeah.
I don't recommend the super fast or the super slow.
Yeah. There's like a
Right.
beautiful bell curve in the middle that feels really
Yeah.
nice.
I think
Just a
you pedal.
regular cruiser speed,
Yeah, you
and you'll be
cruise it
fine. You
in.
can't
You
screw
cruise
it
it
up.
in.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that cruising it, that's actually I've never heard this before about it, but if you cruise in at what comfortable speed is for you, that's it.
You'll be
Because it's
okay.
like what I see is when people are most comfortable is when they do it,
Mhm.
when they like
Yeah.
are at that comfortable speed. But like, some people feel comfortable pedaling like crazy into a drop. So I guess
I
do
know.
that.
Yeah. When that I think I don't know if his name was Tom, but he said, "Give it 3 good cranks, and then you're gonna feel like you want to do more, but definitely don't hit your brakes." And I did in my mind as I was coming up to the end of the runway. My mind was like, "Is this fast enough?" And then right at the very end, I'm like, "Am I too fast?" And I just did nothing,
Did
but I did
nothing.
those 3 cranks,
Yeah.
and I went off it, and the landing was smooth. It
Was
felt
smooth.
like an invisible roller.
Well, I'm glad
Basically.
that Tom gave you like the most appropriate suggestion, because that is very right.
Yeah.
I would
like-
say don't go too fast, don't go too slow, and whatever that speed is when you hit the metal grate, just commit to it. Don't back out. I mean, if you back out, you're screwed. So just go with it, and you'll be fine. I promise you, you'll be fine. If you didn't go too fast and you didn't go too slow, you're going to be fine.
Look, I'll give it to the viewers of the segment. If you hit up in Arkansas, we will tell you in.
Yeah,
There you
I'll
go.
tell you.
Oh, that's a fun
We'll
party.
tell you in.
That's a fun party.
Yeah.
The drop the hammer sessions that you guys do, the big trains.
I mean,
Oh,
honestly, we just sit up there and just loop it for.
Mhm.
Sometimes it can be a problem because we were
Well,
trying to
sometimes
ride
it's not
other
even about the
things.
drop; it's about the step up. We're all
Yeah.
doing the step up. You just have to do the
Yeah.
drop, and it's like
Yeah.
sometimes you sit there and go, "We're not even caring about the drop, honestly. Like
Mhm.
we're doing the step up."
Up after.
But I'm
Yeah.
always like, I thought we came to ride this other stuff. We're stuck here.
Yeah. No,
There's cease and desist, and there's a
It
lot of other fun
gets you
things.
locked in.
yeah.
you locked in.
Once the hype starts, you end up sitting there for an hour and a half doing drop the hammer like a million times.
Yeah.
It's a perfect social spot, you know, because
It is,
people
totally.
hang out at the stairs right there, and then you can talk and then drop in. But oh man, dude, it's been so great to have you guys on the show. Thank you guys
Mhm.
for giving us a flavor of what the season ending was like and what the Bentonville Bike Fest was like. Make sure you folks tune in to the Naturally Gnar Show and get a chance to see these episodes. Scott and Brandon, let them know where they can tune into these specifically.
Yeah. So if you go to YouTube, youtube.com/Narkansaw, playlist season finale 5. There's a couple of different playlists. We sorted it out so you can watch as much as you want or as little as you want.
Mhm.
And then also, follow us on Instagram. That's the 2 platforms that we exist on. And man, we appreciate it.
Yeah,
Come
and
to
everybody
Arkansas.
else says, like, subscribe, leave a comment. All that stuff helps with growth.
All
so
that
we
stuff.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Heck,
Come to Arkansas and we will tell you in to drop the hammer.
it'll be a good time. I
And
promise you guys that's what I did.
If you can view the content for more than 3 seconds, that would be appreciated too.
The attention span of people in 2025 is very short, so
Yeah.
we have to beg
Hang
for
in
the
there a little bit longer.
Yeah, fighting for
5
eyeballs.
minutes.
It used to be money. Now we're like, we need eyeballs. We need eyeballs.
Yeah, we need eyeballs. We need your eyeballs for 5 seconds.
And we had everybody hanging with us here, so that was cool
Yeah.
too. So man, chat was
Thanks,
super
everybody.
active.
Yeah,
Everybody
you
hanging.
guys are awesome. You guys got another nickname here. Electric Trail Surfers calling you guys the Narcan Legends.
Narcan Legends.
Oh, that's awesome.
There's an infinite amount of ways that you can fold in the Gnar.
Like to hear more.
Thanks again, you guys, and thank you to the chat. This has been episode 180 with the host of the
Yeah.
Naturally Gnar Show. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Right on. Thanks,
See
man.
ya.